Greetings, Pokefans! Michael here, and I love Castform. Can I get a hail yeah? I haven't said that in a while. I feel like I need to bring that back. Yet, despite my love for the Pokemon, Castform is, well, garbage. And it seems several of you want me to suffer by reminding me of that fact. So after several requests, I am reacting to False Swipe Gaming's video, How Bad Was Castform Actually? Huge thank you to False Swipe Gaming for giving me permission to make this video. His channel is linked in the description below. But now, let's dive in.
The Pokemon scholar and hip-hop visionary Jay-Witz once devastated his lyrical opponent by claiming they did not have the weather balls for success. Fortunately, that doesn't apply to us, as whether you're ready or not, yeah, get it, weather, Castform is up next.
I love Castform related puns. Why do you think I say hail yeah all the time?
Played Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, as well as their remix, will remember the excitement of obtaining one after a hard-fought slog against Team Magma or Aqua in the Weather Institute, as well as the immense cool factor that comes with Castform's unique ability, Forecast, that lets it—
It's the hail. A fun little fact about me and my relationship to Castform, though, is that I didn't actually start really developing a fondness for Castform until I was older. When I was a kid, I thought it was cute, but I didn't really care about it. But as I got older, I'm like, this is such a cute Pokemon. And then people would make fun of it, and my protective instinct would kick in, and I'd be like, no, it doesn't have boobs, stop it. And now I've just taken it to the point of no return, and it's one of my top 10 favorite Pokemon, and you all have to deal with it.
Change form depending on the weather, besides sandstorms, much to the disappointment of those of us who took it into the desert on Route 111.
I'll never understand why they did not do the sandstorm form. Like, some people are like, it's a water molecule and sandstorm has nothing to do with, like, water. Well, neither does clear sun. Yeah, rain, it's water. Hail, it's frozen water. It's clear sunlight. You can do sand.
Better yet, those of us who sent it out under Shadow Sky in Pokemon XD. Today,
oh my gosh, he brought up XD. The game, it exists to some people. Did XD have a shadow Castform? I don't remember. Okay, no, it does not. But one of the big boss battles uses a Castform, I remember.
This weather ball, get it, weather ball, performed in the competitive scene. And so we ask, how good was Castform actually? And in this video, we'll be going over these.
Oh, well, that was nice. I was fully expecting a joke right off the bat. That was just, how good was Castform actually? Not.
Competitive formats. If Pokemon's viability was related to the creativity of their design, Castform would be a solid OU with a small niche in Ubers. Sadly, that is not the case, to the chagrin of wishy-washy fans everywhere. And as such, Castform is one of the worst Pokemon in the game. If Glalie—
It hurts, man. I know it's true. I knew this was coming. But it just hurts.
Stat spread of base 80 across the board was mediocre. Just imagine base 70. That is base 70 on a Pokemon that is completely useless before weather is set up.
Hey, but let us recall that all of those base stats total to a base stat total of 420.
Talk about being under the weather. Of course, thanks to its perfectly meager stat spread, Castform wasn't worth much even with weather active, regardless of form. Its amazing coverage moves didn't do it any favors either. It was too weak, too slow, and too frail to leave any sort of meaningful impact, even all the way down in NU, which was particularly cruel because several other Pokemon pulled off rain and sun strategies quite effectively. Pokemon like Huntail and Blossom turned into some of the most dangerous threats around under their respective weathers. Castform did not, and as such was not worth the effort.
I mean, to me, it seems like Castform's problem is that it's impacted by the weather, but it's tougher for it to influence it, you know? I mean, I guess the only Pokemon back in Gen 3 that had the weather changing abilities were Groudon and Kyogre, so any Pokemon would have had to use a weather move to set things up, but Castform's problem is that it's a jack of all trades, master of none. A jack of all trades. Purple Cliff. It's funny. Is it even a jack of all trades though? Well, Jack loses Nuzlocke a lot, so I guess, yeah.
Would have been cool would be if Castform's weather-reliant forms received stat boosts of some kind. But
yes,
sadly,
thank you. That's what they should have done.
And as such, Castform was never used, even in the never-used tier of its debut generation. Once again, beyond Castform's reach, extending manual weather duration through the newly added Damp Rock and Heat Rock did nothing for it, and nor did the automatic permanent hail setting of Snover while it was allowed in the tier. And
wow, it was in the same tier as Snover. Why do you all make me suffer?
You still had weather strategies aplenty, especially Sun, but still managed to, well, not rain on Castform's parade, but definitely ruin its parade and rub its face in how ruined it was. Castform's one moment of glory, if it can be called that, came with the release of Pokemon Platinum, when a switching Pokemon was KO'd by Pursuit, while Weather, Trick Room, Gravity, or Uproar was active, it would trigger a glitch called Acid Rain, which was wild. Multiple weather effects would become active at the same time. If Castform was sent out under Acid Rain, it would change back and forth between its Sun and Rain forms forever. Literally, the game would not end. Someone's DS or internet would have to be turned off. Now, this never happened in a battle anyone really cared about, as nobody would ever actually want to use Castform, but it was pretty hilarious that it existed. Anyway.
What? I have never heard of that. It's the sun. It's the rain. It's the sun. It's the rain. Wow. This has changed my life. People have said that Castform is not powerful. It's weak. But Castform, in reality, is one of the few Pokemon that can break the entire game. Castform's not broken. Your save file is. Not actually, I don't think it corrupts the save file. I think you just turn it off and it's fine. But still.
Anyway, all Castform needed to become viable was for Sun to be permanent, and thus it found an excellent niche in DPP Ubers. When supported by Groudon.
Did he just say it found an excellent niche in DPP Ubers? What?
And Castform fired off brutal Choice Specs weather balls that mowed down neutral targets like Dialga, while fire resists like Kyogre and Lati Twins were destroyed by Thunder and Ice Beam, respectively. Sometimes Castform's base 70 special attack came up just short of a KO, but that was nothing hazard support from Deoxys Speed couldn't fix. And oh, we're just kidding, that's not what happened. Pretty sure you knew that. Castform succeeding in Ubers, what a goofy idea.
Oh, you know, this is actually a pretty good social commentary moment for us all. Misinformation is so prevalent on the internet these days, and a big reason people will fall for it is because people are more likely to believe something that they want to be true. And I fell for this because I wanted it to be true.
After all, Rayquaza and its airlock were far too prominent for Castform's weather-reliant antics to ever be consistent. As part of Game Freak's haha, let's laugh at how bad and stupid Castform is initiative, Generation 5 introduced Drought, Ninetales, and Drizzle Politoed. Now, as a tool for making Castform feel even more left out of the party, this was highly successful, and came with the extra twist of the knife that was Vulpix getting Drought as well, as dreamed up by one particularly sadistic Game Freak employee who really wanted to punch Castform's many weather-dependent faces.
Seriously though, like, it seems like Game Freak made Castform and then was like, actually, we hate this thing. They made it a special gift Pokemon, but gave it terrible stats. They had its ability not cover Sandstorm. They had its ability not actually be that useful, just end up being a gimmick rather than something that is actually effective in the competitive scene. And they didn't give its weather forms shiny forms until Pokemon Home came out, which as of now is still the only game where you can look at a shiny Castform, the shiny weather forms of the Castform, because you can't bring it into Sword and Shield. It's been a rough run for our boy.
Competitive players quickly caught on to Game Freak's way of thinking in the section of Castform's Smogan analysis that instructs players how to check or counter it. Among the listed methods is to, quote, mercilessly mock and taunt the trainer who sent out Castform, end quote, until they forfeit out of embarrassment. This is interesting, as when most players use such a bottom-of-the-barrel Pokemon, they are hoping to make their opponent laugh so hard that they'll time out before they can move.
Yeah, I've read that. I've read that Smogon segment. It's like almost as bad as Delabird's, and Delibird has like, what, like a 350 base stat total? Like substantially worse than Castform?
Alternatively, they might be using the Beautifly Gambit, otherwise known as trying to ugly the other player to death. However, using Castform has the opposite effect. It basically enrages the other player into furiously screaming at and belittling you until you throw your computer or phone out the window, just to get away from the relentless tirade of abuse that makes the rants from Whiplash look gentle. This is a warning for the sake of the player base's mental health. Remember, you matter, and thus do not use Castform, lest you get fooled into thinking you don't by someone blinded, enraged, and perplexed by Castform's lack of competitive viability, and your choice to use it anyway. If Smogan really cared about their player base's well-being, they'd ban Castform for this reason. But we have to take what we can get. Anyway, Castform was hella unviable even in NU because it didn't beat anything at all, even with weather active, and became untiered as a result. Its greatest contribution was reminding you that you should reach out for help if you need it. After all,
I mean, I suppose Castform promoting taking care of your mental health and seeking therapy if you feel you need it in the grand scheme of things is better than being a good Pokemon battler.
Pokemon is just a game, but you have a life to live, and you should not ruin it by using Castform. You deserve joy in your life. Use something awesome like Latios and spam Draco Meteor instead.
Oh,
Someone
God.
at Game Freak took pity on Castform by changing weather abilities to no longer induce permanent weather in Generation 6, and that person was made to do their boss's laundry for a year as punishment, choosing that over the extreme alternate punishment of using Castform in a battle just once. The rest of Game Freak swore vengeance and thus chose not to give Castform an amazing Mega Form that was only active in double battles alongside Primal Groudon or Primal Kyogre, or Mega Abomasnow, yeah. That would have been incredible. And while we're at it, maybe it could have fused with Mega Rayquaza. Sadly, some people just hate good ideas.
That would have been so fun! What if Castform is actually just a Rayquaza egg?
And those people often happen to be in charge. Those same people chose to give Castform an ability called Forecast, an ability that, as far as we can tell, has no capability for weather prediction. So don't accept it just because it comes from on high. Demand justice for Mega Primal Rayquaza Castform. Anyway, Gen 6 brought about a new lowest tier in PU, which was another opportunity for Castform to show how unique it was. Most bad Pokemon needed PU to come into existence a generation or two earlier to have any shot at any viability, but Castform never would have been able to fit into PU. Now that is truly impressively terrible.
It couldn't do well in PU? The tier that doesn't stand for something used, it just stands for PU? Although I will say, I agree with the call here. Justice for Mega Primal Castform Rayquaza.
In a twist ending rivaling that of your favorite mind-bending movie, Castform was actually used in a serious PU tournament battle once. Plot twist number 2, you believed it, you were fooled. Castform's been untiered this whole time. Beat that, Christopher Nolan.
Oh man, why does he keep getting me?
Z moves changed everything. With Z Rain Dance, Castform could boost its speed and set up rain for itself and fall to untiered. Yeah, that happened again. I
predicted it this time because using your Z move on Z Rain Dance doesn't seem like a good usage of it.
Would have made Castform awesome in Generation 7. First, it gets Rock-type Sandstorm form. It still has base 70 stats, but you'll soon agree that that's necessary for balance. Then it should have gotten its own Z move. Let's call it Light That Weathers the Weather, that summoned all 4 weathers at once, and the sun and rain are the kind that can't be removed with other weather moves, like those from Primal Groudon and Kyogre. Castform would then transform.
I know it's Castform getting the crap beat out of it, but I did appreciate the shot of like 2 of the cutest Pokemon out there battling each other, Castform and Marshadow. It's pretty clear which one is better. Really wish Marshadow was not mythical so I could use it more often.
Form into one gigantic mismatch of all 4 weather forms. A fire, water, ice, rock type. Its base stat total would be that.
Okay, now he's just memeing.
Base stat total combined.
Actually, he's probably been doing that for a while.
Across the board, 70 times 4 is 280. That's a base stat total of 1680. Well, look at that. Eternamax Eternatus doesn't look so impressive anymore, does it? Bow down before Eterna Giganta Dynamax Castform, whose weather ball is, of course, all 4 types of its new form, meaning it also gets quadruple stab, and it's also 400 base power because it's all 4 weather balls in one. And the fire and water weather balls are of course boosted by the sun and rain. And if someone can come up with a strategy to counter this Castform once it is already set up, assuming it didn't take damage or status or anything while setting up, you'll win a fabulous prize. Ubers allowed. Bonus points if your strategy does not include the following: airlock or cloud 9, and the combination of focus sash and a
man, he's even making a Wobbuffet
anyway,
killer.
What actually happened in Generation 7 was that Castform was too awful for PU once again and dropped to untiered. But this is just so much more interesting than how Castform's only purpose was to run a joke set with 3 weather moves and weather ball, and it's just so boring and who cares. Eterna Giganta Dynamax Castform rules. The Z move triggers the Dynamax in a wonderful combination of Generation 7 and 8. Castform is so powerful it created a half generation, so on and so forth. And that's it. So how bad was Castform actually? Well, it was in fact one of the worst Pokemon ever, and it's surprisingly bland for a Pokemon with so many different forms, because it's the same problem every time. Not only does it need weather to be worth anything, it winds up not being worth anything even with weather. Its most significant competitive contribution was providing endless games in a Generation 4 Wi-Fi battles in one of the greatest glitches of all time. A glitch.
Okay, he does get, like I said, not breaking any records. Not broken as a Pokemon, but it breaks games.
Sadly not adopted by battle simulators because serious players are too good or something. Of course, competitive success isn't all that matters. Castform serves as a good reminder to take care of your mental health. And what better way to do something for your mental health than coming up with ways to counter Eterna Giganta Dynamax Castform? We await your responses, though we don't actually have a prize. Thanks for watching, everyone. And as always, if you liked the video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to False Swipe Gaming for more weekly Pokemon content.
You should also subscribe to MandJTV.
And in the comments, I want to know, what do you think about competitive Castform? I mean, how would you counter Eterna Giganta Dynamax Castform? Whatever you think of, leave it in the comments.
All right, well, we're gonna take a look at the comments. I wish they added primal weather forms of Castform and Auras for extra viability. Swap those base 70s to base 100s in primal form and you're good to go. Yes, that would have been dope. It wouldn't have made any sense because Castform is a newly created Pokemon, so you couldn't do primal, but Mega would have been cool. Sadly, some people just hate good ideas, and those people often happen to be in charge. It's one of the most brutal and devastating insults I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. It kills me that Castform has such a cool gimmick and is introduced in a generation where weather is the running motif of the whole game, but they make it utterly useless. Same, Paul. While I appreciate the thematic stat spread, it would be better suited with the stat spread of a reasonable, bulky water type. Castform could have the ability to tank, setup, or just switch in and be a useful asset no matter the state of weather. Yes, that would have been nice. Poor MandJTV, his favorite Pokemon can't catch a break in competitive. I was wondering when someone was gonna mention me. Castform is not my favorite Pokemon, but it is up there. And God, it makes me so sad. When people tell you that you're unique and special, usually they mean that in the way that Castform is unique and special. That you're very cute. Babe, it's noon on a Sunday. Time to hear about another unviable Gen 3 Pokemon. Yes, False Swipe Gaming. In every gen, there have been Pokemon that have been made specifically to show off mechanics introduced in that gen or given more prominence in that gen. Gen 3 had a lot of them with Pokemon like Slackoth, abilities, Wurmple, personality values, and Castform, type changing and overworld weather. Very few have ever been viable and competitive. Yeah, I know. But this is a cool idea. I would just give plus 10 to all of its base stats and have its stats shift according to its form. The water spread makes it better special attacker and bulkier on the special side. Fire boosts its physical defense and special attack. Ice makes it fast. Interesting. And Weather Ball gets an extra power boost. It would not make it OU, but it would at least make it viable in PU. And is that all we're aiming for? It will be hilarious to see MandJTV react to this. LOL, this one was particularly brutal. Well, you got your wish, Bird Maniac. I am upsetty spaghetti. Thank you again to False Swipe Gaming for giving me permission to make this reaction video. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. Link is in the description below, and you should also subscribe to me. And thank you so much for watching. With an extra special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon who are helping support my channel independent of fluctuating YouTube ad rates. If you want to help support me in the same way, the link is in the description below. Also, if you want to check out some more of my fun Pokemon content, I recommend these videos here. All right, that's all I have for now. So until next time, Poke fans, gotta catch them all.